This is Brian with BPS Customs, S-Tech TV, and this is the Lian Li PC-T60 test bench, and today we're going to talk about it. The PC-T60 is Lian Li's base model test bench that they offer for approximately $80. It's pretty widely available. I picked this up at Micro Center. I use it to test incoming components before going into client builds. I also do a fair bit of buying and selling on Craigslist of used parts because I make systems for family members, friends, things of that nature, and sometimes they don't always want the best, the newest, whatever. They just want something that works. So I do pick up some stuff off Craigslist, and it's very important, obviously, that you're testing this stuff as you're buying it, or at the very least, right after you're buying it, to make sure that it works before you plop it in somebody's system and ship it off. The test bench is constructed, it's basically entirely metal, and I'll kind of swing around here and see it from the front. Come down. It's entirely metal. It comes disassembled, so you do have to assemble it, and that is actually the biggest issue that I have with this test bench. It comes in a fairly small box. All the parts are separate, and it comes with some ungodly number of screws. The instructions are not very clear, I have to be honest. I have quite a bit of experience in assembling not only computers, but other electronic items. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. I had to back up several times and redo things. I used screws that looked similar, but were of slightly different lengths that were wrong. I put stuff on backwards, used the wrong piece for the wrong part. And it was extremely frustrating because the instructions were very unclear. It's not only pictures. I mean, there are some instructions, but it was just not laid out very well. The pictures of the items and the screws were not very clear, and it was difficult to put together. This took me as long to put together as it does to normally build an entire PC. This took me about 2 hours, and it's not a big piece, and it was just because I kept having to go back. I kept having to back up and redo things. But as you can see, the end result is quite solid. It fits both ATX. It fits any size motherboard: ATX, mini ITX, micro ATX, and eATX motherboards. As you can see, I have all the standoffs right now installed, and these that are sticking out right here, these are all for eATX motherboards. Right now I have my Gigabyte GA Z170 HD3P installed on there, with just a Pentium G4400, 8 gigabytes of Crucial Ballistics DDR4, and a Toshiba SSD. As you can see, I actually also have an optical drive in there, just in case. I have a couple of these lying around and nobody ever wants them anymore, so I figured I'd just kind of install it. But the test bench comes with a power and reset switch, which also doubles as a hard drive activity light. But as you can see over here, the front I/O is empty. They do sell a separate front I/O part that you can install if you were actually to want front USB, or the audio jacks or anything along those lines. You could buy that and install it and put it right here. For a test bench, for the purposes that I use this for, it's not necessary to have front USB ports. It makes no difference to me as long as I can test out that things are working, run some benchmarks and things of that nature. So I didn't make that purchase. Also available for this test bench is a radiator mount, where you can mount a radiator and fans for a liquid cooling solution. And that mounts right to the front, and it comes up right across here, and allows you to use like an AIO, like a Corsair H110i or something along those lines. Again, this is just a test bench. I'm not pushing things too hard. This is a Pentium chip that's not overclockable in here, so it's not really an issue for me. I mean, I could put something else in there if I really wanted to, but for now, there's no need for that. And I just used this Cooler Master Vortex cooler, which actually keeps things nice and cool. And I have no issue right now with cooling on this unit. I think that Lian Li did intend this to be usable as your daily machine, your daily driver machine, if you so intended it to be. That's why they do offer the extra parts. But that's not that wasn't the point of this purchase for me. They also do provide you with double height standoffs, which you just basically, it's just two standoffs screwed together. It provides you with more space underneath the motherboard for more airflow. You could route some cables under there to make things a little bit cleaner. But cable management on something like this is kind of pointless. I mean, I do have things a little bit tidied up, but as you can see, there's still cables here, there's cables here. The 24 pin is just kind of, wherever it can go. I do have some cables tucked up under here, but as far as cable management goes, there's very little you could really do. The rear mounts for the PCI slots are something that are separate, that are bolted on. You actually don't need to install these, but if you're going to be using any kind of expansion cards, this obviously is recommended to keep everything uptight and sturdy. Overall, this is definitely a worthwhile purchase for somebody like me who is testing hardware often. For somebody who just wants to use it as a regular system, $80 for something that you need to buy add-ons for is not really ideal. There are much better options for that. But as a test bench, this is excellent. It's very sturdy, although the assembly was kind of a bear. I mean, this handle is great. I can just pick this up and move it if I really want to. And actually, courtesy of PC Tech, I got a LED lighting strip under here that when I turn the system on, it illuminates the entire board. And I actually would recommend something like this for anybody working on this. These LED strips are fairly inexpensive. This is their dark side set. I mean, obviously it's not required, but it does illuminate the entire motherboard. It makes working on this so much easier, especially finding which pins are going where and whatnot. And it's powered by a system fan header, so it's not like you have to hook up a Molex or anything like that. Overall, this like I said, this is a worthwhile purchase for somebody who does what I do, but certainly not for everybody. If you want to do some quick swapping of components in your system and to be able to test some things out, this is certainly something that you should consider. The all-metal construction is sturdy. It looks like it's going to hold up long term. And like I said, it is fairly modular with some swappable parts. A lot of the parts actually are mounted with thumb screws, which makes changing things out really easy. But the whole base, which I'm not going to focus down here on because the lighting in here is not great. The whole base is put together with just regular Phillips head screws. And like I said, I did have some difficulty with it. So be aware that you may need to go back and redo some things, and don't get frustrated because it happens to the best of us. But that's about it. This is Brian with BPS Customs signing off. Thanks for watching.